Hi, my name's Wyatt, and I'm a graduate of the class of 2024. And one thing that I've really enjoyed throughout med school is reading and writing poetry. I first became interested in poetry actually back in high school. It wasn't until medical school though that it became a much more serious interest. I think just the intensity of some of the experiences that you have in the hospital, and also just as you learn about what it means to be human, that made me want to try to reflect and try to remember what I'm realizing. The book that I've produced is meant to be just the most important things that I want to remember of the conclusions that I'm coming to about life, about who God is, about who I want to be as a person, but also as a physician. So the type of poems that I write usually reflect on themes of medicine, of botany, of theology, and usually some combination of all three, to be honest. It's a way to try to see the world in a different light and see things a little bit differently than I do on a day-to-day basis. As it's helpful for viewing the world in a new light, it's also helpful for trying to get to know God and record like what I'm learning about who He is and who I am in regards to Him. I think one of my favorite poems from the collection is a relatively simple one. It's titled Manzanita, which is a type of bush that grows in the Idlewild area as well as the Big Bear region of Southern California. I haven't seen these anywhere else, and they're really striking. They have parts of their limbs that die, and then even on that same limb they have another section of growth of bark alongside it that's this deep crimson. And so they look really odd because it looks like half of it's dead and half of it's flowering. The idea of a plant putting part of itself to death or letting part of itself die in order to live more fully was something that resonated with me as a person, and realizing that, one, as I get older and slow down, how do I also get older in a graceful way like that? How do I age like that? And then in a spiritual sense too, realizing that there are parts of me that I do need to let die in order to grow in other ways. Right down the middle, crimson and stone. Xylem and phloem are just old bones. Connections lost, just a frame. Flowering, fruiting, all the same. How does it know what parts must go? Executive functions, random draw, divine leading, hearing your call. Graceful decline prolonged yearly, new growth, new fruit clinging dearly to the earth from which it rose, that it may lay down at last in graceful repose.